Hello, thanks for joining Aso Briefing today. I am Hadesidi Suraju. Our top stories. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu donates food items to National Mosque, Abuja. Senate questions Defense Ministry as terror attacks persist. FCT Minister Wiki expresses satisfaction with progress on Airport Kuji-Gwawoleda Road project. And federal government introduces investment budgeting to drive economic growth. You are watching Aso Briefing. Watch us live on DSTV channel 392, StarTimes TV channel 127, and Free TV channel 507. We are also on the UHF band channel 38. We now go ahead with details of all our stories. Now, the presidency, through the office of the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has distributed perishable food items to communities within the National Mosque in Abuja as part of President Tinubu's renewed hope support for vulnerable families in the forthcoming month of Ramadan. The donated items include bags of both sweet and Irish potatoes, chickens, eggs, and an assortment of fruits. Daniel Obi reports.
The initiative is part of an ongoing renewed hope effort aimed at elevating the economic hardship faced by vulnerable Nigerian families through steady support with food palliatives. Ustaz Abubakar Sadiq Mohammed, chairman of the Palliative Distribution Committee of the Abuja National Mosque, praised the remarkable gesture of the First Lady, stating that no item, including a smile, is spared in the expression of goodwill to one's neighbor.
Of course, it's a long way because every family needs these items. Without mentioning them, all the items are needed in Ramadan for the family at all times, especially now, and especially as Ramadan is approaching. Our gratitude to Our Excellency knows no bounds. Our appreciation and the appreciation of the poor and the recipients is endless. Everything could be distributed as charity. Islam teaches us that even a smile could be charity. So, distribution, everything could be distributed, yes.
Beneficiaries like Abubakar Ibrahim and Aisha Muhammad appreciated the wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. They thanked her for her uncommon love and motherly care in this show of affections towards the needy of the society.
First of all, I want to thank the First Lady for this gracious gesture to the National Mosque. I think this distribution of food items go a long way to serve the household. We want to appreciate her a lot, and we look forward to see more of this, inshallah.
Honestly, they're actually going to go a long way because these are items an average family in Nigeria doesn't usually see it all the time. And getting it at now, honestly, it goes a long way for the citizen. To anyone that have received this, I'm sure they are going to sleep happy today at home.
The First Lady has been actively involved in various philanthropic activities, focusing on food security, empowerment, and support for vulnerable groups. The distribution of these food palliatives is expected to bring relief to beneficiaries, particularly as the Muslim Ummah prepare for the coming month of Ramadan. Daniel Obi, Aso Television News.
Now moving to the National Assembly, where the Senate has expressed fresh concern over the rising waves of terrorist attacks across the country. As the chairman of the Senate Committee on Defense, Senator Ahmed Lawal described the security situation as worrisome. Senator Lawal stated this during the 2026 Budget Defense and 2025 Budget Performance Review of the Ministry of Defense before the committee. In his opening remarks, the former Senate President said the exercise was taking place at a troubling time for Nigerians amid persistent insecurity across several parts of the country.
Our reality in the last 50 years has been that of battling terrorists and insurgents that have succeeded in carrying out kidnappings, mass abductions of communities and students, massacres, arson, and so on and so forth.
Now reacting, the Minister of Defense, Major General Christopher Musa, retired, acknowledged the security challenges but assured the Senate that military operations were ongoing and yielding positive results. He maintained that the armed forces remain committed to protecting the nation's territorial integrity and restoring peace nationwide. The committee later went into a closed-door session to deliberate on sensitive operational matters, project and budgetary figures presented by the ministry. Now, still from the National Assembly, the Public Accounts Committee, PAC, House of Representatives, has sought for adequate funding for the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation to enable it discharge its core constitutional responsibilities. This followed a presentation by the Auditor General, Mr. Shaka Kanyito Chira, during the 2026 Budget Defense Session on Wednesday at the National Assembly. The Auditor General had, while presenting an overview of the 2025 budget performance, complained that poor release of allocated funds affected operations of the office, leading to gaps in accomplishing its statutory mandate and plans for the year. He said the office was able to audit only 5 of Nigeria's foreign missions in 2025 due to lack of funds and owing rents in some locations amid shortage of personnel. Mr. Chira explained that while 653 million naira was appropriated for the foreign missions audit, 371 million naira was expended, leaving an outstanding balance of 282 million naira, which represents 56% of the total amount released. He further informed that only 4% of the capital allocation to the office was released in 2025, which he said significantly impaired its operational capacity. Chairman of the committee, Mr. Bamidele Salam, and members described the allocation as grossly disproportionate to the constitutional responsibilities of the office, which is mandated to audit over 1,000 ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as government-funded institutions. Mr. Bamidele said it is unrealistic to expect the Auditor General's office to effectively scrutinize the proposed expenditure of 58.4 trillion naira with such minimal funding. A breakdown of the 2026 budget estimates for Office of the Auditor General of the Federation shows 5.3 billion is earmarked for personnel costs, 5.6 billion naira for overheads, and 4.8 billion naira for capital expenditure. Now, still from the House of Representatives, where the House of Representatives Committee on Sports on Wednesday at its budget defense session increased the budget estimate of the National Institute of Sports from 2.8 billion naira to about 60 billion naira. Chairman of the committee, Mr. Kabiru Ahmadu, said the committee, working with management of the institute, decided to increase the budget estimate of the agency after due consultation with the leadership of the Budget Office of the Federation. He decried the poor funding of the institute, describing it as a critical pillar in national sports development, and emphasized the need for increased budgetary allocation to enable it discharge its responsibilities effectively. The committee's chairman, however, commended the leadership of the institute for the innovation so far, leading to a turnaround. Presenting his budget estimate, DG of the institute, Mr. Philip Shuaibu, appealed for increased funding, informing that total capital estimate for 2025 was not released. He said 52 years after establishment, the institute lacks definite plan of action, pointing out that his management has now put in place a 10-year plan that will reposition the institute. The National Institute of Sport, established in 1974, serves as Nigeria's premier training and research center for sports development, with a mandate to produce qualified coaches, sports administrators, and technical personnel to drive excellence in the sector. Now, moving to the nation's capital, where the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezemu Wesomuke, says he is satisfied with the pace and quality of work on the ongoing Airport Kuje and Kuje Gowolda route projects. Speaking after inspecting the site, the minister described the route corridor as critical to easing movement across the territory, noting that work on the Airport to Kuje stretch has surpassed 70%, while the Kuje to Gowolda section is nearing 65% completion. He added that if the current momentum is sustained, the project is expected to be ready for inauguration by June.
Last time I was there, you remember, we stopped about it at the mosque where they were constructing, and we were well impressed with the level of work done. And like the contractors have said, God willing, by first week of June or July, they would have inaugurated this project. It's a very important project, so that you don't need to go to the through airport if you are going to go to town. So I think it's very important. We are very, very happy with what we have seen. If you take from airport to Kuje, it was 70%, and here I can see it's almost 65%, so I think they will beat up.
Now, moving on, the National Convener of Integrity Group Nigeria, a Tinubu support group, Ambassador Oke Idawene, has declared that there is no vacancy in Aso Rock in 2027 due to the unprecedented developmental project being conducted under Tinubu's administration. Ambassador Idawene stated this in an interview with Aso Radio and Television in Abuja. We'll bring you the report subsequently. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and the National Peace Committee, NPC, have forged a strategic partnership to strengthen election security and promote peaceful conduct ahead of the forthcoming Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections. The renewed collaboration was affirmed when members of the National Peace Committee paid a visit to the INEC chairman, Professor Joash Amupiton, in Abuja. Welcoming the delegation, Professor Amupiton described the visit as timely, noting that the Commission had in the past week concluded a series of engagement with key stakeholders, including security agencies, political parties, civil society organizations, and the media, as part of final preparations for the FCT elections. He emphasized that beyond the immediate election, 2026 remains a critical preparatory period for the 2027 general elections, underscoring the importance of proactive collaboration to manage emerging security risks. The INEC chairman commended the National Peace Committee for establishing an election security information hub to complement institutional efforts at conflict prevention and electoral risk mitigation. Professor Amupiton acknowledged concerns raised over alleged threats among political actors, inter- and intra-party tension, vote trading risk, and the broader security challenges in certain communities. He assured the delegation that the Commission would share relevant insights with security agencies to enable preventive and responsive measures. Earlier, the Executive Director of the Kuka Center and Head of Secretariat of the National Peace Committee, Reverend Father Atta Barkindu, conveyed the goodwill message of the committee's chairman, former Head of State General Abdul Salam Abubakar retired, and its convener, Bishop Hassan Kuka. He assured the Commission of the committee's readiness to provide strategic guidance and support not only for the FCT election, but also for forthcoming governorship elections in Ekiti and Osun states, as well as preparations for the 2027 general elections. Still on political matters, the Social Democratic Party, SDP, in Abuja Municipal Area Council has suffered a major setback following the defection of its council chairman, Honorable Dodo Mohammed, to the All Progressives Congress. Honorable Mohammed led a large number of his supporters to the APC and formally endorsed the incumbent AMAC chairman, Mr. Christopher Zakami Kalangu, for a second term in office. According to a statement issued by the Senior Special Assistant to the Chairman of Media and Public Affairs, Mr. Kingsley Madaki, the defection took place during Mr. Mikalangu's campaign tour of Jiwa community. Addressing party supporters at the event, Honorable Mohammed said his decision to leave the SDP was informed by what he described as a remarkable performance and infrastructure development recorded under the Mikalangu administration. The colorful event attracted a large crowd of party faithful, community members, and traditional dancers. It was also witnessed by the Serikin Jiwa and other prominent traditional leaders who offered their blessings for the new political alliance. Political observers say the defection is a significant boost to the Mikalangu Nedabo ticket as it strengthens the APC's position ahead of the forthcoming area council elections. Welcoming the new members, Mr. Mikalangu described the move as a homecoming for those committed to development, assuring them of equal opportunities and inclusion in the party's activities. With the latest development, the APC in AMAC appears to have consolidated its structure as former opposition members pledged to work together in support of continuity, transparency, and inclusive growth in the council. Now, the Federal Ministry of Works has restated its avowed intention to rehabilitate the Maiduguri-Mungunu Road Section 1 in Borno State. As the nationwide media tour of the Northeast Zone continues, the Federal Controller of Works in the state, Engineer Salihu Adam, while addressing the media at the project site in Maiduguri, assured that the project will be completed despite persistent security and logistical constraints. The project was initially awarded in 2018 at a contract sum of 21.73 billion naira, traversing 105.6 kilometers. Following a technical review, the scope adjustment, the project was revised to incorporate a flexible pavement structure with asphaltic concrete shoulders, bringing the current contract sum to 28.37 billion naira. Phase 1 of the project covers 30 kilometers. Significant progress has been recorded with approximately 5.8 kilometers completed up to binder cross level and about 8 kilometers of stone base executed. Clearance works have also extended beyond 15 kilometers, while shoulder construction is ongoing in line with the ministry's revised policy, which replaces surface dressing with asphaltic concrete shoulders to provide stronger structural protection for the carriageway and enhance pavement durability. As security remains the major constraint on the Maiduguri-Mungunu corridor, Borno State continues to operate under emergency conditions with base and sub-base laterite source from Ngamudu near the Yobe State border, about 150 kilometers away, and stone materials hauled from as far as Shira town in Bauchi State, approximately 450 kilometers, due to restricted access and security considerations like the ban on the blasting of rocks in the state. In another vein, the chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Borno State Council, Abdul Karim Haruna, inaugurated the completed limited rehabilitation of Kaga Gubio Road sections 1 and 2 outside Beni Sheikh town on behalf of the Minister of Works, Engineer David Umahi. When Aso Briefing returns, more stories on business and more. Please stay with us.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind to it, live the life that you remember.
Stay connected. Stay with us. Starting from Yanga and Jolly.
You are watching Aso Briefing. Watch us live on DSTV channel 392, also on Star Times TV channel 127 and Free TV channel 507. We are also on UHF Banner channel 38. And the news continues. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has disengaged 43 personnel over offenses including desertion, scandalous behavior, and patrol misconduct. A breakdown of the action shows that 31 officers were dismissed for desertion, 5 for scandalous behavior, and 7 for patrol-related misconduct. Corps Marshal Shehu Muhammad described the move as a reaffirmation of the Corps' zero-tolerance policy on indiscipline and ethical violations. He noted that desertion is a serious breach of duty in a safety-critical organization, while scandalous conduct and patrol misconduct undermine public trust. The FRSC says it will intensify internal monitoring, strengthen supervision, and promote ethical standards across its commands, while urging the public to continue supporting its road safety mandate. Now, the Nigerian State Forest Safety Security Service, NFSS, has strongly condemned the recent banditry attack in Wuru, Kwara State, describing the incident as a threat to peace, security, and national stability. In a press statement signed by the Commander General of the NFSS, Dr. Osatimehin Joshua Wole, the NFSS boss directed all officers across the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, to remain vigilant and proactive, as operatives have been instructed to continue supporting the Nigerian Police Force, the Department of State Services, and the Nigerian Army in efforts to tackle insecurity and criminal activities, particularly within forested areas across the country. The statement further appealed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu through the Office of the National Security Advisor to consider the integration of over 48,000 trained NFSS personnel who are currently awaiting final directives for formal inclusion into the national security framework. Still on security issues, the Ukomo Igala organization has expressed deep sadness over the violent clashes between farmers and herdsmen in Ejule Ojebe town, Ibaji local government area of Kogi State, which resulted in the loss of lives, missing persons, and the destruction of farmlands and properties. This was contained in a press statement signed by the organization's national leader, Major General James Ataguba, retired. The statement, which sympathizes with families affected by the tragic incident, called on the Kogi State government, the Nigerian Police Force, and other relevant security agencies to intervene and act swiftly without delay to prevent further bloodshed and reprisal attacks. The statement further emphasized that Ibachi local government area continues to suffer deep socio-economic challenges worsened by years of neglect, lack of infrastructure, and environmental degradation affecting farming and fishing livelihoods, as these conditions have fueled repeated communal tensions in the area. The organization therefore urged both the Kogi State and federal government to investigate the underlying causes of these recurring conflicts and take concrete steps towards achieving lasting peace and development in Ibaji and Kogi State at large. In line with its determination to accelerate Nigeria's economic growth and development, the federal government has introduced investment budgeting as a key component of the 2026 budget, and to marking a decisive shift in how public finance is structured to drive long-term growth and development. Speaking at the National Economic Council in Abuja and during the 2026 budget defense sessions, Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzokanite, disclosed that President Bola Tinubu mandated the inclusion of investment budgeting as a foundational pillar of the 2026 budget design to positioning the budget not only as a fiscal document but as a growth execution tool aligned with the Renewed Hope National Development Plan 2026-2030. The minister explained that the introduction of investment budgeting reflects the president's broader economic strategy to move Nigeria beyond stabilization and into a sustained phase of accelerated inclusive growth, recognizing that achieving Nigeria's ambition of a $1 trillion economy requires more than recurrent spending and traditional capital allocations. Dr. Uzoka Anite acknowledged that while recurrent expenditure sustains government operations and capital expenditure builds public assets, investment budgeting is designed to deliberately crowd in private capital, de-risk priority sectors, and generate long-term economic returns through productive assets. She said under this framework, government resources are deployed strategically to unlock investment in infrastructure, agriculture, manufacturing, energy, housing, digital infrastructure, transport, and logistics. Rather than government acting as a sole financier of development, the state becomes a catalyst, using limited public funds to mobilize significantly larger pools of domestic and international private capital. Now that's Aso Briefing for today. Many thanks for watching. I am Hada Sidi Suraju. Have a great day ahead.